live?
We're live.
All right, welcome to another episode of the MMA Degenerates. I am the MMA Degenerate, and Ryan is back in the house.
Welcome back.
All right, so we had Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships 21. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to go through probably a few of them because there were some former UFC fighters, namely Houston Alexander, who fought Wes Combs. That was a great fight. That was the guy, he knocked him out, and his eyes were still open as he was knocked out. And he did hit him on the ground, though, afterwards, which is a bit of a no-no in bare knuckle boxing.
That's the thing about bare knuckle boxing, though. It's way less forgiving, a lot more charisma involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little different than MMA.
Yeah.
But it was his first time in bare knuckle boxing, so I'm sure they're going to give him a little bit of a break because of that. All right, so we had Josh Burns versus Shoemaker. Josh Burns, he kind of yelled at his opponent after he knocked him clean out on his feet. That was a little...
a little disrespectful.
A little crazy. But yeah, what you gonna do? But it was still a great knockout. Actually, if you look on the fight card, nothing got past the second round. That's crazy. No, I mean, that's what I love about bare knuckle boxing, because it's to the point. Yeah, it's 2-minute rounds. So if, it's boring, it'll be over quick. And also... it's the knuckles. That's what makes it so entertaining. That's why there's so many knockouts, because it's like a street fight. And 99% of street fights don't last more than 2 minutes. You'll see maybe a little bit of grappling or something, but for this, there's no grappling. So if they're hurt on the feet, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah, you don't see street fights where people are out there for 5 rounds.
Yeah,
trying to grapple each other
with a ref or something.
Exactly.
This
is much more like what we're used to, like just
in the streets.
Streets.
What's it called? World Star.
Yeah.
Like World Star.
Exactly.
Like World Star. But yeah, it was good. I mean, we had Mike Richmond fight Dakota Cochran, who's in the UFC. He caught him with some good body shots, and I noticed a lot of the body shots were they're using them a lot more. Yeah. Before, it was just guys coming out and brawling, and it still is, but they're using body shots and they're using technique more, which is awesome. And it's that knuckle. It digs into the stomach. It digs into the ribs. It's not like a glove that dissipates that, energy.
And that's another thing. It's all punching, so you don't really have to worry about kicking. So there's a lot of head movement involved. It's not more finesse, but it's a different kind of finesse that you're going to be getting out of MMA.
It's a different animal for sure, and it's even a different animal than boxing, because in boxing you clinch and then you have to separate. But in this, you can clinch and start uppercutting and stuff like that. As long as you're uppercutting and the action's moving forward, then you're good. So that's awesome. All right, let's go to the next one, right next to it. Yep, Holyfield versus Belfort. All right, stop right about there, because I'm only going to go over the last two. I'm not a huge fan of boxing personally, but there's 2 MMA fighters in the main event and the co-main event, so I had to show my love. I had to represent, for MMA, and both of them got W's. Anderson Silva, well, actually, Tito Ortiz was also in MMA, so it wasn't boxer versus MMA for the co-main event, but I knew that Anderson Silva was able to beat him because Tito Ortiz did knock out Chuck Liddell in a MMA fight like a year or 2 ago after they were both out of the UFC. But he looked good, but he didn't look like a world beater. And I knew Anderson Silva, even though he's like 40-something years old, he still has, some of that speed left. He was rope-a-doping against the ropes. It looked like Tito was trying to overpower him with punches, but Anderson Silva was able to rope-a-dope, get around it, and still hit him with a great counter right hand. And then Tito kind of turned his head, and he hit him with another one, and plop.
That's it.
Yeah. And then the Vitor Belfort fight. This one was a big mismatch in speed for sure. Belfort was just running circles around him. And Vitor is on that TRT, that testosterone. You already know. In the UFC, he wasn't allowed to be on it because it's, if you have elevated testosterone levels, they have USADA testing them. So, they're, really big with testing. But an event like this, a Triller event like this.
Anything goes.
Yeah, not even anything goes, but the athletic commissions have their own testing, but they test them once before the fight and once after, or they test them 2 or 3 times, maybe.
So it's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, it's way more relaxed than USADA. USADA, they're knocking on your door at like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning and like saying, hey, we need your piss, we need your blood. It's like, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it was good. But, you know, Vitor definitely was going to win no matter what. He was running around him. He kept on catching him with those left hands. He knocked him down with the left hand and the left uppercut, the left hook, left uppercut. Beautiful combo. You know, Vitor is much more of a striker than he is a grappler, even though he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Wow. He's still more of a striker, and he showed that off. But, I mean, to be honest, Evander had less than 2 weeks' notice. He's like 58, 59 years old. He looked in shape. It looked like he was working out to stay in shape. You know, he was hitting the mitts, you know.
Not really.
But yeah, he was
not really keep fighting.
Yeah, no, he wasn't sparring. He wasn't, you know, doing 2 a days like Vitor probably was. He wasn't, you know, training for a fight camp. He was training just to stay healthy because, you know, he looked good for a 58-year-old, like a lot better than some 58-year-olds that are out there.
58?
Yeah, he's about 58, 59, yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah. But you could tell the speed wasn't there. Vitor was 20 or 30 pounds lighter than him, and he was just running circles around him. And the stoppage was a little controversial, in my opinion. We talked about it off podcast, but pretty much it was really like he got hit with some good shots. He got knocked down. I understand that. And he did look like he wasn't all the way there, but he was still trying to move when they stopped the fight, because it was a standing TKO. It wasn't, he didn't get knocked down. He didn't do the 10 count again. You know, like I was saying before, I thought, you know, maybe, because like I told you, this thing was in California. Then they said, we're not letting Evander Holyfield fight. So then, of course, where do they go? Florida. Of course. Where else would they go, right? You know, we love that shit. You know, we don't care.
We're all for it.
We're all for it. And then so I bet you the commission talked to the ref or something and was like, look, if he looks really hurt, if he doesn't look like, you know, just cut it. Just cut it quick, you know. Yeah. Or maybe the ref was thinking that himself, like, oh man, he already got knocked down.
Even with that though, I still feel like with that stop, they could have went another 10 seconds or something. But I understand either way. It was a done deal since the beginning.
Yeah, from the get, it was a done deal. So, I mean, he would have lost regardless, whether it be over 8 rounds or whether it be in the second round or the third round or the fourth round or so on. So, yeah, he was, yeah. All right. And that's it. I don't know these other guys. David Haye looked okay. I caught, like, the end of his fight, and he's a former boxer. He wants to fight Tyson Fury. And if I'm gonna be honest, like, the way he fought, he would definitely get messed up by Tyson Fury. But yeah, I don't know any of these. So we can, let's go to the fight announcements.
Alrighty. Benson Henderson, Brent Primus set to face off at Belfort 268.
Oh yeah, it's going to be you don't need to scroll down for these.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Brent Primus fought Michael Chandler. They had a bunch of fights. Benson Henderson's former UFC champion, so it's going to be fun. Okay. Yeah. All right, go on to the next one. All right, yeah.
UFC books recent DWCS winner Azmat Murzakanov versus Marcin Pachinio on November 20th.
Very good. Oh yeah, he was the guy. He was the guy who he had that KO. Did I watch the Contender Series with you? Like, oh no, that was when you weren't here. Yeah. So no, yeah, I watched it. He caught him with the guy with a killer right hand. I forgot what Marcin did. But whenever they come off that first fight of the Contender Series, I think they're always better because they're used to the octagon. And then hopefully the November 20th fight, I'm hoping it's like a pay-per-view or something, because I really want these guys to fight with a crowd. Because in the Apex, they do have a crowd, but it's only like 100 and something, 200 people. I want to see these guys in like a big stadium. That'd be dope. All right, go to the next one.
Anthony Hernandez versus Dustin Stoltzfus in the works for UFC Fight Night on December 18th.
Very good pronunciation on that one. But yeah, no. Anthony Hernandez is good. He fought this guy, I forget his name, but this guy is a world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner, but he's super muscled up.
Awesome.
And he got tired, and Anthony was able to choke him out. And he doesn't even have a belt. He just trains, no-gi grappling because he's a mixed martial artist. But everyone, like I remember, even Joe Rogan was commenting. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he did it!" Like, because that guy that he submitted is an amazing jiu-jitsu guy, and it's very hard to submit him.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. I mean, I haven't seen Dustin fight, but I've seen Anthony fight, and I hope it's more of the same.
A lot more to come from this guy.
Yeah. All right, go for the next one.
Alex Caceres versus Hyung Woo Choi added to October UFC Fight Night event.
Yeah, that's Bruce Leroy right there in the picture. That's Alex Caceres right there. Yeah, he's you can tell from the fro, he's that Bruce Leroy. But no, he's good. I haven't seen Hyung Woo Choi fight. I might have, maybe if I look at the dude, I might recognize him. But yeah, Alex is a good fighter. He's a gritty veteran, and Hyung Woo Choi maybe has a few fights in the UFC, not much, and beating someone like Alex Caceres is like a little feather in your cap. You know, Alex was in the Ultimate Fighter. He's like gone to the top 15, then went below because he's very hot and cold. So it all depends on how he trained, how motivated is he, because he could come out like a demon and just starch this dude quick, or he could be just, very flat and not do what he's supposed to.
Exactly.
We'll see. I hope, because when he's on. So I hope he's on that night.
We'll see.
All right.
Cage Warriors champion Ian Gary set for UFC debut against Jordan Williams at UFC 268.
Nice. I'm glad they're doing it at UFC 268 because pretty much like he's a former champion of Cage Warriors, which is I don't know if the UFC owns it, but it's on their Fight Pass subscription service. So I'm sure they're partners or affiliated with the UFC in some way. So it's kind of like a feeder league.
Right.
But it's great to grab the champions of these leagues and put them in, especially in a pay-per-view fight, because it might be in the prelims, but he's probably higher up in the prelims. So that he's going to have to show up and he's going to have to look at the bright lights. And UFC 268 is looking like it's going to be amazing. We had a few fights fall off, but not the main ones, so that's good. But anyway, this is going to be fun. Yeah, that's a cool one. I want to see how he does. I haven't seen him fight, so.
Jimmy Crute versus Jamal Hill targeted for UFC event on December 4th.
Very nice. Yeah, the bad boy right there. You can tell he's a Resident Evil fan from that big old tat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Umbrella Corporation thing, right? Do you watch Resident Evil?
Resident Evil, I haven't seen it. I played a couple of the games as a kid. I see the little Earth Tribe symbol from Avatar, though.
Yeah, so he's probably a movie guy, show guy, video game guy. But yeah, Jimmy Crute's a good fighter, well-rounded, mostly striking, and Jamal Hill is mostly striking. They're mixed martial artists, so if they need to, they'll go to the ground. So whoever rocks the person first, that other guy's going to be going to the ground first. He's going to either be trying to take him down or he's going to be falling down from the knockout. So it's going to be a fun one. All right, go to the next one, last one.
All right, Josh Parison versus Dontel Mayas on tap for UFC event on December 18th.
Very nice. Yeah, John Parisian, he's one of those Contender Series dudes. So I love the Contender Series. It's so much better than the Ultimate Fighter. Like, the Ultimate Fighter's fun, but I don't like reality shows because the Ultimate Fighter is just a bunch of dudes in a house and they're fighting every week.
Oh my god, it's like Big Brother, but
yeah, exactly. But with fighting and a lot of alcohol. Yeah. So
still pretty cool, but
yeah, one season they had to take out the alcohol because there were too many fights going on in the house. Yeah, they brought it back, but they had to take it away for a few years.
Of course.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the Contender Series because it's right down to business. None of that, reality BS stuff. It's what. Here's some fighters from not in the organization. So then we're going to see how they fight. And if we like them, we're going to sign them. If we don't like how they fought, we're going to say, hey, come back in a few months to the next Contender Series or the next season, which is next year or something, or get a few fights somewhere else and come back to us. So that's what I like about it. And John Parisian's a good fighter. He's fought after the Contender Series, so he's acclimated to the UFC and all that stuff. So, all right, yeah, we're good. Let's get on to the news.
Denied. Jake Paul cancels senseless Tyron Woodley rematch. Eyes a skill with Tommy Fury.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a biased statement right there.
Right.
Scroll down a little. Let's see if we can find some quotes. I see one right here. So yeah. Okay, so pretty much Tyrone had to get a tattoo if he lost to Jake Paul, and he lost by split decision. And what he had to do was he had to get I love Jake Paul. It had to be either on his upper arms or his lower legs. So if you're wearing shorts or a shirt, you can't hide it. So Tyrone kind of balked though, because he said he would, but then he was like, well, no, I need the contract for the rematch. And then Jake's like, no, you have to get the tattoo first.
Come on.
I mean, I wouldn't have even agreed to it in the first place. I would have been like, boy, I don't need a tattoo to tell me I'm going to beat you. I know I'm going to beat you. But he didn't. But Tyrone kind of fed into it a little bit. So scroll down just a little bit more.
He's buying into the memes.
Right there's good. Right there's good, yeah. Okay, so so he says, so this is Jake Paul. I'm like, where's my tattoo? Now he's saying you have to sign a contract, then he'll get the tattoo. The tattoo was a bet before this fight. It was the loser had to get the tattoo. So now he's trying to change it and make it for the rematch. It doesn't make sense for me to fight him again. If he would have gotten the tattoo now and the clip went viral and everyone's like, Jake, do it, I'd be like, I kind of have to do it. But he fucked up. So yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, yeah, like there's no reason. It was a boring fight. I watched it. Didn't buy it, of course. Wouldn't buy into that bullshit. I had to watch it for the for my degenerates out there. So it wasn't a really fun fight. It was kind of boring. I mean, Tyrone just wouldn't pull the trigger. He was known for that in his later UFC career. He did the same thing. Jake, his skills aren't bad. That showed he can go the full 8 rounds, that he's been doing. So, I mean, it did show a little more about Jake. It was better for Jake than it was for Tyrone. I mean, but Tyrone got $2 million.
Well, that's...
I would box Jake Paul for $2 million. Are you kidding?
Instantly.
Yeah, that's his retirement right there. And, he wanted another one just to get that extra, retirement bonus.
Yeah. Just
to make sure. But, yeah, he messed up. I wouldn't have gotten the tattoo at all, I would have done a little better in the fight. I would have, but, it was a payday. I got it. All right, so go down a little more to the next one. Right there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so then he goes on to say, I think Tommy Fury's probably at the top of my list. He's skilled. He's undefeated. He's Tyson Fury's brother. He's a real boxer. He has like 4 million followers on Instagram with good engagement. He has fans from the relationship thing. I have no idea what that is. Like they fell in love with him. He was on a show. Yeah. He was on the British show like Love Boat or something like that. Yeah, or some shit like that. I almost want to go into a fight where it's like, there's no way he's going to do this. I just want to continue proving people wrong. So I think, he's 4-0 right now. He's got 3 knockouts and the decision to Tyron Woodley. Why not fight Vitor Belfort or Anderson Silva? If you do that, you will show that I'm actually good at boxing. He is decent at boxing, but he's fought streamers.
It's more about publicity.
Yeah, it's more about publicity. He's fought streamers. He's fought former NFL players. He just fought a former fighter who was a wrestler. 2 former fighters who were wrestlers.
It's like, what fight's going to make me look the best while making me the most money?
Exactly. That's exactly what he's looking for, because he knows that if he loses, it's over. The money train's over. He already has a lot of money. I don't think it's really for money. I think it's more for fame and clout, like you were saying. Yeah. Because if he gets knocked out, people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to watch him anymore. He got knocked out.
Come on.
All right. That was a fun one. We can go to the next one.
All right. Midnight Mania. UFC ring girl Irani Celeste responds to Khabib's comments.
Oh, yeah. So, scroll down. It might show his comment. Yeah. Scroll down. Yeah, right there. Right there. Stop right there. So, yeah, he says... A week ago or so, I didn't go over this in the last podcast, but he said UFC girls, ring girls are the most useless people in MMA. I mean, he's not wrong. Like, is he wrong? I mean, they're eye candy and they tell you what round is next.
That's useful.
That's useful. That's useful. But if you're looking at the most useless person in MMA, it is ring girls. Yeah. It is, but I'm saying I love ring girls. I love having them there. It brings flavor to the event. It brings entertainment, and these girls work very hard to keep their bodies good and to look good. So they
be the same without them.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't work hard, but if you had to cut one thing out of a mixed martial arts event,
might as well.
You might, because think about it, you can't cut out the ref, you can't cut out the commentators, you can't cut out the president who's there, you can't cut out the doctor who's there. You can't cut out the cut man who's there. You can't cut out the sound guy, the guys with the cameras. I mean, I get it. Y'all, they work hard though, because they look great. They work very hard to keep their bodies good and eating right, working out probably at least 2 or 3 hours a day. Or maybe they have amazing bodies and great genetics,
Just for that little bit of screen time.
Hey, that's work though. That's work right there. I can't do that I can't work out for more than an hour a day. After an hour, I'm like...
Even that's just like...
Yeah, even that's a lot for me if I work out an hour a day. Yeah. So, let's go down. She had a little...
Something to say.
Wanted
me to play it?
Yeah, play it.
I'm here tell you right now, we don't care. We don't care, Jimmy.
All right, yeah, go down to the caption. So she doesn't care. It's an awful lot for not caring, though.
Right.
But she's right. Look, I mean, I read this already. She said, she's been working at this for 15 years. She's now, she's used that money to invest it in things. I'm not saying that they're useless. I'm saying if you had to call some, the most useless, it would be ring girls because, but I understand. I respect them. I love them for what they do because I couldn't do what they do. Let's just say that. I couldn't get that thin and walk out like that,
Yeah.
I could not do that. Maybe for Invicta, they should have ring card dudes.
Oh my God.
That would be dope. That would be good for them.
Might as well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to respect them, I want to see you go out there wearing nothing but a
That's true.
Speedo.
Yeah, imagine Khabib doing that. But I mean, yeah, we're piling it on Khabib, but remember, he's a devout Muslim.
Yeah.
They don't subscribe to that. They don't even let you masturbate.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't even that's a no-no. I mean, that's why he's saying this. And, I mean, I know people might think it's insensitive to women, but that's his culture.
That's true.
You have to respect people's cultures because if you're saying you're being disrespectful to women, well, you're being disrespectful to him as a Muslim.
That's true.
I mean, there's two sides to every coin,
Of course.
And women there are, respected in that world, but they're respected if they're married and they're not doing stuff like walking around in their bikinis, And like I said, I'm not saying it's bad. I love it myself. But if I was a Muslim, maybe I wouldn't like it. Maybe if I was a moderate Muslim, I'd still like it no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
It depends. But he's a very hardcore, devout Muslim. So that's why. All right, let's go to the next one.
Was BJ Penn better than Khabib? Prodigy has surprising take on UFC legacy.
All right, yeah. So scroll down to the quote, right, a little more. Right there is good. Okay, yeah. So BJ Penn was talking about how Khabib isn't the greatest of all time in his opinion. He enjoys him as a fighter and all that, so he's going to talk about that here. So I enjoy watching the Khabib fight. I cannot see Khabib saying he is the number one lightweight of all time because of that that does not seem his style. I will give my opinion on what I think of Khabib's career. Khabib, and Benson Henderson had 3 title defenses. Me and Khabib had 3 finishes and 3 title defenses. I did finish Joe Stevenson to win the title belt, and Khabib won a unanimous decision over Al Iaquinta to win the title, the lightweight belt. So that's 4 finishes me, 3 finishes him. There's just numbers that aren't important to fighting. I feel like that is the champion's duty to the sport and fellow fighters to make sure that the next champion is the greatest world champion to step in the ring. I do believe Khabib walked away too early. All right, stop. Yeah. So, pretty much, yeah. So he's comparing his career, and let's go down. Actually, let's see what else he has to say. So there are fighters and sportsmen. All I ever wanted to do was to fight everyone. I was 25, and in my fighting prime, I went to 170 pounds, won the belt from Matt Hughes. I cannot blame Khabib for not going up and fighting Kamaru Usman for the belt, and then sparking a greater conversation for who was the best of the 2 fighters who won the 170 and 155 belts. The fighters today get fame and don't want to lose. I will fight any time until the day I die. I went to Japan and Hawaii and fought in K1 and Rumble on the Rock at 170 and 185 and heavyweight. He fought Lyoto Machida when he was 220 pounds, and BJ Penn was just barely over 200 himself, and he was chunky to say the least. So he says, I don't know who the GOAT lightweight is. I was just there to fight. Yeah, so I get what he's saying. Khabib did leave a little earlier, but I guess the main thing is that Khabib was more dominant than BJ Penn was. Right. He won every single round that he fought. I mean, he might have lost 1 or 2 rounds, but BJ Penn lost plenty of rounds. So, yeah. I mean, someone said on another podcast, or some commentator said, BJ and Khabib, you could put them 1 and 2 as the GOATs of lightweight, but you could interchange them. So if I saw Khabib as number 1, BJ Penn as number 2, or vice versa, I wouldn't care either. They're both amazing fighters. They're both just great at what they do.
It's like a MJ versus Kobe or MJ versus LeBron kind of thing,
Yeah, pretty much. So, it's your preference. It's what you feel. Maybe the older people who like MMA might like BJ Penn more, or they might like Khabib more. or I mean, the newer ones might like Khabib more because he's newer, and he beat Conor McGregor, and he beat Dustin Poirier, he beat all the up and rising stars in the lightweight division at this point.
They're all very in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel he did walk away too early, but his dad did die of COVID, and his mom said, I don't want you to fight, and he loves his mother a lot, so that's fine.
He's just like any one of us, but worth $50 million.
Exactly. All right.
Jason Miller arrested for felony domestic violence.
Nah, not again, my dude.
Man.
I really like this guy. You ever watch Bully Beatdown?
I have not.
He used to have a show on MTV where he would get bullies and then he would have MMA fighters beat him up. Yeah, it's great. And it was just great. All right, let's go down. This is just sad. All right, stop right there. There won't be any quotes, obviously. Let's just look at what he got arrested for. So, MMA fighting confirmed that LAPD, that Miller's arrest occurred early Friday morning in Los Angeles. Probably going crazy over the lockdowns or something.
Well, that's usually what it is.
Yeah, Miller, 40, is currently in custody. Bail set at $1.385 million. Yeah, well, the reason is because this isn't the first time this crap's happened.
Yeah.
There's a picture where he barricaded himself in his house because he slapped his girlfriend, or he did some domestic thing. Something that wasn't he didn't try to kill this girl, but he did hit her or something Yeah, he made a bad decision. The cops came and he barricaded himself in his house. And there's a picture of him getting arrested. He has a mohawk, what's it called? Travis Bickle, freaking Taxi Driver mohawk. Robert De Niro at his finest right there. So he looked like he was crazy, and he had his little wiener dog right next to him barking and jumping up.
Oh.
Yeah, he loves his wiener dog. So anyways, according to LAPD officials, they responded to a call from a woman allegedly involved in an altercation with Miller, again with the domestic crap. He resisted arrest, and he had to be tasered before the officers were able to apprehend him. Yeah. I've seen someone get tasered in real life, not just to show, but at a party. Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not the best.
I haven't been, but I've seen it happen, and you've been tasered. It's not fun. It's not fun. That's what happens when you try to attack a cop. My friend tried to attack a cop.
Takes down your whole body.
Yeah, and he fell down immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. So... yeah, he's incarcerated in the LAPD Valley jail. And on the bottom it says he pled to domestic violence charges in 2017. That was when he barricaded himself in his house. And he also in 2019 he had a vandalism charge, another vandalism charge earlier this year. So he hasn't been doing well. Unfortunately, I wish the best to him because I used to love watching him fight. But that CTE stuff, that boxers get, MMA fighters get it too.
Always.
So getting hit in the head, it doesn't do well for your mental state. All right, let's go to the next one. Hopefully it's a little more positive. Not positive, but better.
Yeah. Dan Hardy against banning oblique kicks as fighters sign death waiver when competing.
It's better than the last one. All right, yeah. So Dan Hardy is a very respectable MMA journalist, former UFC fighter. Got blackballed by the UFC because he had an argument with a woman, one of their staff members. But hey, all right. Let's scroll down a little bit. So stop right there. So this is coming off the heels of the Khalil Roundtree Jr. and Modestus Bukauskas fight. I don't know if you saw it, but the dude, an oblique kick is like a side kick, but right above the knee.
Yeah.
So he broke this dude's leg and knee from doing that.
Wow.
So then people started talking, should we really have these kicks? Because it tears up ligaments, it messes things up. What I think they should do is they shouldn't allow it in amateur fights because they're just amateurs. And in kickboxing fights, amateur kickboxing fights, they shouldn't because they're not getting paid anything, if at all.
Yeah.
They're getting paid little, if at all, but usually they're getting paid nothing. Usually in an amateur, if you're an amateur, you have to sell tickets to get on the fight card.
Fair enough.
So Hardy agrees with me, but I think it shouldn't be banned in pro fighting because, he's about to say, it shouldn't be banned. It's an effective technique. If you start banning effective techniques, then we're going to find ourselves with a very, very limited rule set. True. I think that we need to recognize that it's an occupational hazard. On football field, rugby pitches up and down around the world on a weekend basis, people are getting their knees destroyed the same way Modestus did. It happens very rarely in MMA. Anyone that says it should be banned, have them name 3 people that it's happened to. It's very difficult to recall any time that actually happens in MMA, but people find out later that their ligaments are all torn up and stuff. So, but yeah, very rarely have we seen someone's leg and knee get literally ripped apart at that exact moment. It's usually after, when they do the MRI scan or something like that. So he says it's the same as knees to the ground as well. For everyone, now and then they do land, so there's many times they don't. It's one of those techniques that's very difficult to land. It's more beneficial to throw it earlier in the fight than when the leg's a bit drier and those kinds of things. But it's very difficult to land in the first place. If you can stop a fight with it, well done. I have no problem with it. So he's right, because it's very easy to get out of the way. Yeah. You just have to shift over like 2 inches. Or like I even saw a video on YouTube where it showed so many different ways to get away from an oblique kick. So it's not like it's something you can't stop. Like knees to the ground, a grounded opponent, you can't really stop those if you're the grounded opponent. You can kind of cover up. But in this, you can actually get away from it. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. I think it shouldn't be banned. They sign a death waiver. You know, if they die, they die. That's literally what they're signing.
What they signed up for.
So I mean, yes, it does suck. But in the amateur ranks, even in kickboxing where they don't get paid a lot, I think it should be banned.
Of course.
Because they're not getting paid. If you're getting paid $1 million to fight, or $500,000 or $200,000, yeah, okay, you can take a year off, get your knee reconstructed. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right. That's it for news, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to next week's fight. There's 2 fights. UFC, Fight Night Smith versus Spann. All right, go down to the fight card. Yeah, stop right there. All right, so it's mostly put together. We have a few fights that just got announced. So we have Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. That's going to be a fun fight, both strikers, so I'm happy for that. Spann fought, I think, on the Contender Series. Ian Kuchalaba versus Devin Clark is good. I've seen both of them fight. Ian Kuchalaba runs forward. His nickname's the Hulk. So what he does in the weigh-ins, he paints himself green.
Really?
Yeah, and he does the Hulk smash thing. Yeah. Ariana Lipsky versus Mandy Bohm. Good, they're giving her someone without a Wikipedia page, which means she's probably a very unranked fighter, because she's been on kind of a skid lately. She got a crazy knee bar, and then she's lost 2 in a row.
Right.
And they probably paid her a lot of money to get her, because she was a former champion from KSW. She's the Queen of Destruction, total dimey all the way. And they want to keep her in the UFC because she's a very pretty fighter, so she'll get more eyes on there. That's one of the reasons why I'm watching this, is because she's fighting, because I have a crush on her. So yeah, I mean, so there is, so like they want to keep her, they really want to keep her,
right.
But so they're going to give her someone unranked and easy to beat. All right, Arman Zarukian versus Christos Giagos. Nice. I haven't seen Giagos fight, but I know Arman is ranked number 14. I really wanted Arman to fight who's Fiziev, but he's fighting Brad Liddell, which is going to be a good fight either way. As long as Fiziev has someone in the top 15, I'm happy. But Arman's a good fighter. He's more of a grappler. I don't know Christos. So we're probably going to see a grappling affair. And Joaquin Buckley is fighting Antonio Arroyo. Man, he just got knocked out like 2 months ago. Bad, or 3 months ago. If I got knocked out bad like that and I could, I would take 6 months off. Because it was a bad knockout, like head kick shin to chin.
Which round?
First round.
Okay.
It was not good. Nah. So he didn't get beat up, but he got his lights turned out bad. All right, we got Mike Rodriguez versus Tafon Nachow. And Mike Rodriguez, he got robbed bad. He fought Ed Herman, and he hit Ed Herman in the body with a knee, and it looked like a nut shot. So they stopped it and let him get his 5 minutes. But then on the replay, they saw it, and I always thought, why can't they just say, "Hey ref," like the commissioner should say, "Hey ref, no, that was a knee shot. Get him back up. If he can't get back up, it's a TKO." So then what happened was later, Mike Rodriguez got choked out by Ed Herman in the next round. Yeah.
That was really.
Yeah, Dana White said he got his win bonus though. Mike Rodriguez, he said Mike Rodriguez won that fight, and he gave him his win bonus with the show bonus.
I mean, that's still.
Yeah, it's still an L on your. It's still an L on your record, but he got the money for it.
Okay.
So that's good. All right, and I don't really know anyone else. I know Montel Jackson, Aaron Blanchfield. I know, but that's about it. All right. And Hannah Goldie, I know her because she had an OnlyFans page. And Emily Whitmire, and I don't know Nicholas Mota or Cameron Van Camp, but the thing I like about people I don't know is usually it's their UFC debut, so they're really trying to show that they're good, and they'll run out there and they'll try to beat each other's heads off.
Exactly.
All right, and then the next fight, right, Bellator 261. Ooh, Romero.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yoel Romero. Can't wait to see him fight.
Versus Phil Davis.
Yeah, so unfortunately Romero slowed down a little bit. He used to do a lot more wrestling, but he gets tired now from wrestling. So it's going to be more of him striking with Phil Davis trying to take him down, because Phil Davis does not want to stand with Yoel Romero. If he does strike with him, it's going to be using his jabs and his leg kicks and his other kicks to keep him at bay. And then when Yoel gets tired, or when Yoel gets angry and rushes him, he's going to take him down. That's what I would do if I was him. We have Neiman Gracie. It's always good to see a Gracie fighting. You know, the OGs from UFC 1, Hoist Gracie's family. So I'm always down to see a Gracie fight. Don't know Lara. Oh, Georgi Karakanian's good. He's a kickboxer who also does MMA. Grant Neal, I've seen fight. He's good. Another Gracie, Roland Gracie, is going to be fighting. That's awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's coming up on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's about it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Do me a big favor. Punch that subscribe button. Head kick that like button. And share us wherever you can so we can spread this stuff everywhere. All right. Have a good one. Be safe out there.